Welcome to Overcome Yourself, the podcast, where we rewrite stories, shift mindsets, and make dreams come true. I'm your host, Nicole Tuxbury. Let's get into today's episode. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the next episode of Overcome Yourself, the podcast. As you know, my name is Nicole, and I'm so excited to be here today with Shannon. And now, Shannon has just such an incredible story, and I thought it was, one of the things she put in on her form, I thought was so important. You moved to, it's like Caribbean islands.
The
Remind
Cayman
me which one it
Islands.
was? Cayman
Hmm.
Islands. Okay. Beautiful. Like I used to work in a cruise line, so the pictures, the ocean, amazing. But then you said that you realized that you had brought your drinking problem with you. And that made me
Hmm.
think that's such a good point about how we can't run away from our problems. We try, and then we realize, oh, snap, this was only a symptom of my
Right.
problem, which is something that I got going on in here. So I want to talk to you about that today, Shannon. So please take it away, introduce yourself, and let us know who you are and who you help now.
Yeah. So my name's Shannon Whaley. So I currently live in Italy. So I'm just outside of Pisa. And I was born and raised in Southern California and then worked my way up the West Coast where I ended up living in Seattle
Wow.
for, I think, 12 years. And that's where I kind of came to be. So I moved there. I was from 21 until 33. So very formative, adult
Yes.
years. And in that time, I was a drug and alcohol counselor. I was doing interventions. I was doing all of that. So that's when I was not using, obviously. And then I got out of social services and I started working as a hairstylist, and then I was working as a cocktailer, and that's where things just took a left turn. And so, yeah, I was doing raves and house music and all of that. And I was 33, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, this can't be it. And I
Yeah.
had an opportunity to move to the Cayman Islands. I knew two people there, and I had an offer to stay there for free until I got on my feet. I was like, okay, time to start over. Like, I had been trying, and this is the thing. Like, I had tried to quit using for, I started using drugs and alcohol when I was 12. So taking breaks, I think the longest I had of not using, I was not in recovery, but it was just, I wasn't using substances. I was still toxic as, can I cuss?
Yes,
Okay.
please do.
I forgot to ask that. Yeah, I was still toxic as fuck. Like I was still like doing all of the things. I just wasn't using substances. So I had
Wow.
tried to quit for what, decades at this point. And so I thought, I'm going to get out of Seattle. I'm going to move to this Caribbean island. I'm going to change my life. And yeah, I packed up my drug and alcohol problems and moved to the Caribbean. And so when you go on vacation, have you ever been on vacation oh, you were on the cruise line. So you know what I'm talking about, right? Where like there's like a vacation mode. So if you go to Hawaii or you
It's a
go to like a
vibe. It's
beach
a whole
town,
vibe.
it's a vibe. Now imagine that's your entire life.
Yes.
And like you're supposed to go to work, you're supposed to be like a fully functioning adult, but then like all of your friends are at the bar on Sunday or they're doing this thing, right? And so pretty soon the week vacation where you're all lush and you go back to your life, right? And so you're back to your responsibilities and you're not partying, but when it becomes this is just an everyday thing and it was okay. Like you were encouraged to drink while you were working. Don't have to tell me twice. And it was just one big party. And it became very apparent very quickly that if I don't do something, I'm gonna have to go home. I'm gonna have to go back to Seattle. I'm gonna have to go to treatment. I was blacking out in public. Like I was not blacking out. Well, I was also passing out in public on like the side of the street. Like I was on a bus stop, just like take a little nap at midnight. And it was dangerous. Like, I'm lucky to be alive. I was really lucky to not be taken or assaulted or so there were a couple big moments like that where I was like, I really can't be doing. There's no off switch. It's
Mhm.
either I can't have a drink. Like to me, there's no point of having a drink. It's like let's let's have a couple, and then after three, I'm no longer responsible
Yeah.
for what I do.
Mhm.
So that was it. Yeah, I moved to the island, and 6 months later, I had to get sober because for me, the worst thing that I could imagine was having to go back to Seattle and admit that I had failed because so many people wanted to see me fail. And so I was to spite them in a way. I found recovery. I got sober and found recovery. And that just was just a second, like a new lease on life. Like that's really where life started to come together. And I was on a completely different trajectory. Finally.
Yes. You quoted my book. I know you haven't read it, but that's one of the things I talk about, being stuck in the monotony of, the what is it called? Like when you're just doing the same thing over and
The
over, the rut.
hamster
Like you're
wheel. Yeah,
just
yeah.
stuck in this rut. And I remember thinking, is this it? Is this all there is to life? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll? And like those things are awesome. They have their place, but this cannot be it. And
Right.
so I love that because I came to that cross point as well. And I said, this cannot be it. Like if I'm
Yeah.
gonna live, if I'm gonna get through this all these years, because like, if I make it even to 80, I still got a lot of years, right? Like, am I just gonna be dragging myself through this? Like this whole time
For
I'm just
sure.
gonna be fucking miserable?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, no, that can't be. And so I had to learn to find joy. And so since then, like you went through that, it was a very hard thing. You got to do it in a very beautiful place though.
Yeah, true.
um, then between then and now, like you've done some amazing things. You said you're living in Italy. All right, so give us like the recap here because a lot has happened between then and now, right? So tell us
Yeah,
about that.
absolutely. Yeah, so I have a degree in psychology and I was just
Yes.
talking to a friend about this. My what I wanted to do, I thought I wanted to be a therapist and working and teaching. I love teaching. And so I thought I was going to be teaching at the college level. So I went to one day of grad school to get my doctorate in psychology and was like, this is not, I was 23, so entirely too young to be doing any of that. But what my goal was when I started studying psychology and when I graduated, I just wanted to help women live really big, bold, like bodacious lives where they were just living their best lives. And when I graduated in 2001, coaching as it exists now didn't exist. It was Tony Robbins, it was all like white collar um like executive coaching.
Yes.
And so I
Or
thought
woo-woo life
therapy.
coaching.
Yeah, yeah, it
Very
didn't
woo-woo life
exist.
coaching, right?
Yeah, so I thought, okay, well then the way to do this is therapy, and that wasn't it either. So did the hair, moved to the island, and then when I got sober, I was like, I want to use my degree again. I want to change lives. Like I want to use my story and what I've been through, and I want to get back to what I originally wanted to do. So fast forward now, however many years, 2001 to 2025, I'm finally doing the thing that I wanted to do, not at all how I thought it was going to look. So I had been in recovery for 2 years and I was doing yoga teacher training and coach training. And I thought, I'm going to be a life coach and I'll teach yoga. And then I shattered my wrist while I was working. And I had a very large settlement that also just, I mean, it was like $30,000, $40,000. Like it completely changed my life. And I say that because like a lot of coaches are, I don't feel like they're transparent enough about the cushion that they had or like who bankrolled them or right. So that was what allowed me to quit my job. It allowed me to become a full-time coach a year into my business. If I didn't have that cushion, I wouldn't have quit my job so quickly. So I just want to be really transparent about that. That's what also paid off credit cards, allowed me to move to Italy a couple years later. And so when I started my online business, that changed everything because my goal, I traveled to Italy in 2003 and I was like, I want to live there someday. I imagined it was when I was going to be in my 60s, retired. I needed to have I needed to be rich to move here, right? The timeline sped up significantly because I had this online business. And so when I broke up with a boyfriend and bought a one-way ticket to Italy. I signed up for school, so I had a year-long student visa in 2017 and I moved here. I met my now ex-husband, but uh met him while I was in school, and so we got married, and so that was 2017. So that's how I've been able to stay here for so long, is that I married an Italian, and then I had my own company that has supported me throughout all of this. So and now I'm also doing so I'm a business coach and I help people uh, create anti-hustle based businesses. That's my whole niche, anti-hustle coaching. And not just businesses, but also lives, because we're taught as North Americans, like I said, like I'm from Southern California, of just like corporate culture, hustle mindset. And so people bring that into their businesses when they're entrepreneurs, and it's really hard to undo. So my goal for my clients is to help them undo all of the corporate culture and all of the hustle mindset and just like really settle into like the La Dolce Vita way of life. So anti-hustle way of life.
I love
Uh,
that.
yeah. So now what I'm doing too is it's actually recovery based, which is
Mhm.
very surprising to me how this has come full circle. One of my clients, I'm their marketing strategist for a recovery company, which has me looking into becoming a recovery peer coach and kind of doing more work inside this industry, whether it's peer coaching or working with more treatment centers for their marketing. So I don't really know what it's going to look like yet, but it feels like some new, fresh energy into my business.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of us need that. Some of us need different projects at different times. Some of us are made to, like we're comfortable being in a company for like 20 years, and some of us, that sounds like our worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And I think you and I are on that vibe. We're like, no, I want to do something for a few months and I want to go do something else. Um, and what I was thinking about when you were talking about like people who leave corporate and they bring those traumas, those addictions with
Mm-hmm.
them, it is a parallel to your journey of how you left Seattle and then you went to the islands and you realized, oh, it's me. I'm the vibe. I'm the problem.
It's me. Totally. Oh, this is a me thing. That's interesting.
Yeah, but kind of the
Mhm.
same parallel in coaching, right? Where you have to realize, oh, I'm not doing the things that made me successful in corporate are not the same things that are going to make me successful here. Like,
Yeah.
it's not about, because you're in corporate, like, you're literally just paid to show up. Theoretically, as long as you kind of maintain, whatever status quo, like all you gotta do is show up and you're there, you drink your coffee, you talk some shit, you go to the bathroom, you go to the water cooler. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. And when
Yeah.
you look at it, only like people only actually work 3 to 4 hours out of an 8 hour
Mhm.
workday. And so when you try to put that same standard on yourself, and you're at home and you're like, well, I'm gonna go get some coffee. Nobody's paying you to go get that coffee now.
Right.
And so that coffee's really expensive. And so we have to really learn to focus on those income producing activities that
Correct.
move things. And so that actually get things done. And that's how we become anti-hustle, because we're not
Mhm.
worried about all those little busy work things that we got so used to doing in corporate, like the
The
first thing you do, you get to your computer and then you got to open up your programs and turn on the computer. Hey,
right.
Johnny. Oh my God, how's the kids? Right? Like, yes or no?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Yeah. And all those times, like your commute time, the time of walking to the bathroom, like all of those things go away. And then you feel like,
Mhm.
oh my God, I gotta be working. I gotta be working. I'm not working. And that doesn't make any sense, because as long as we're doing those important things, you can go do whatever the heck else you want with those other 4 hours. Like, you're not actually working. Come on, like
Right.
you weren't actually working.
And what I've found, and I feel like this is just how our brains are kind of wired, which is we'll focus on the things that aren't actually going to get us hired. So one thing that I see with my clients is that, like, because when you are building relationships online and you're doing things online or reaching out to people, it's hard. Your brain just like doesn't feel like it substantiates how you've spent your time. But look at my website, look at all of my Canva graphics, look at all of the things that I've created, none of which are income producing activities. And especially, I mean, eventually you're going to need a website. Eventually you're going to need the graphics. Eventually, but if you're especially just getting started, you need to be focusing on building relationships, connecting with humans, because there's nobody to send your website. There's nobody to give a shit about your
Yes,
graphics if you haven't
yes,
built those relationships, right? And so one of the things that is a struggle for so many people is getting back on track and doing the income producing activities. And like, maybe you need a list, maybe you need like to like get you back, like, okay, you veered off, that's great, like these are the things every day. So like, check on your leads list, reach out to people, follow up with comments, right? Like those are all, like, do a Facebook live, book a podcast. Like, how are you building your reach? And then the secondary or third, like tertiary things, maybe give yourself an hour to fuck around in Canva or to update like a sales page, right? That's one of the hardest things, because it's like, I feel so accomplished. Like, look at this pretty website. It's so nice. And no one gives a shit.
yeah. And you're so right, though, because if you don't have traffic, it's
Mm-hmm.
for nothing.
Yep.
You could have the best graphics in the world. And I've had so many clients come to me and they're like, I paid for branding, I paid for a website, I paid for this
Oh,
membership, I paid for this. How do I excel? And I'm like, well, are you like, where's your market? Like, where's your audience? Oh, I haven't done that. Well, then why have
yeah.
you paid
Oh,
$10,000 for this junk? This is
oh.
not. And the thing is that people sell you those things. You don't buy those things.
Because they're good
Somebody
marketers.
sold them that. Yes, but that's all they
Yes.
are. They're really good at
Yes.
marketing. And
This
so I
is.
think you're right. And as a website developer, I'm 100% with you. In fact, I just recorded a talk and I was like, if you're building out a media kit and you don't have a website, do not go down that rabbit hole. Do it on LinkedIn. Do it on
Yep.
Facebook. Do it on Instagram. I don't care. As long as you have a place where somebody's like, where can I find you? Oh, check me out on LinkedIn. And all your
Yep.
featured posts have all the important information. This is how you can work with me. Get your free thing. And so I think it's such a big deal. You don't need to invest $5,000, $10,000, whatever, however much somebody wants to charge you on a
Yeah.
website. You need traffic, you need clients, you need leads, you need
It's
all of those
so
things
true.
before.
And this is exactly what I'm saying. Like, this is on like such a bigger scale of when you just start your business, you think, oh, I need all of these things. And this is exactly why I have the anti-hustle business checklist. So that's the freebie that I have for everybody. This is
Love it.
exactly why, because on that checklist, it's the need to have, the must have, and the nice to have, and then like eventually you need to have, because and so many people get it backwards. They put the
Mhm.
nice to have as the must have.
The
If you
logo.
Yeah,
I
and
have
then
to
they
have a
spend
logo.
They spend so much money when
Yeah.
actually you should be spending if you don't know how to sell, you don't need you need to invest in to somebody teach you how to sell. If you don't know
Yes.
how to talk about what you do, you don't need branding. You need to hire somebody to teach you how
Yeah.
to talk about what you're doing, because the thing is that coaching is a skill set. If you're a VA, if you are a therapist, because I work with creatives and service providers, right? So it's not just coaches, but if you're a photographer, that's your skill set. If you are an accountant, that's your skill set. These are all people that I've worked with.
Mhm.
Sales is a skill set. Marketing is a skill set.
Yes.
All of these things are a skill set. But what is going to actually make you money is the skill set that you're good at, is your
Mhm.
craft. And then you need to like layer the next skills on. So you need to know how to sell. You need to know how to talk about your offer, right? The website and the branding it should be so far off your radar
That's
that that's not even a thought. Use your Facebook, use your Instagram, like exactly like you said. You like have like a really basic landing page on, like, I don't know, Flowdesk or some shit, right?
you can make free landing pages on Google.
I didn't even know that, but that's amazing. Yeah. Do you mean like Google Docs?
No, no, apparently there's like a whole, like I was doing research and I was like, how can you build, like I was doing research for building landing pages, like what's the most cost effective way? And apparently there's a Google landing pages where it lets you build
Get
like a super
out.
simple free landing page.
That's
Yeah. So,
amazing. Yeah, I didn't
mhm.
even know that. So there's workarounds, right? I didn't even have my first proper I did everything on Squarespace. I DIY'd and bootstrapped everything until
Too.
it yeah, well done, because then I could invest in coach training. I
Yes.
invested in a business coach, a marketing coach. I invested in things that actually moved the needle. I did my own Squarespace website. I did everything in Google Docs. I uploaded videos onto YouTube. Like, you don't need Thinkific, you don't need Kajabi, you don't need all these things. They're excellent marketers and they're going to steal your money. So, I think I was probably, I don't know, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 5 or 6 years into business before I actually had a proper website. And the only reason that I got that was because I had moved past six figures and I wanted the outside of my business to match what was financially happening on the inside, because it was all janky. Like, I don't
Mhm.
even have access to my Squarespace site. It's like so janky, right? It did the trick. It got me to six figures.
Yes.
But once I got up there and I saved the money, I paid in cash because of the financials and how I was structuring everything. I see people putting this on credit cards or taking out business loans to get this, and it's just like, get my checklist and I'll figure out how to do
There
this
are
differently.
things. There are things that if you wanted to put down, but I think you're absolutely right. Like paying 5 grand for a logo or a website is not a credit
For
card
a
worthy investment
logo.
because where is it
P-
coming back? How
but
is
like,
you
who
you have
gives
to
a
have
shit
an
about a
ROI.
logo? Like, how is
Right,
this logo getting you hired? Like,
right,
and
right, right.
like, especially for this demographic, because we have these ideas of like what makes a great brand, but like, you're charging $300 a month for your services. Like, you thinking about this big, great brand, right? Is like,
Right, but like you're not
you're
competing with Oprah yet. Like let's calm
no,
down.
people don't give a shit. They're like, oh, I didn't even see your logo. I didn't even know you had. And you're like, I spent so much money on it. Like,
Yes,
it,
yes,
you don't,
yes.
you don't need it. Like, and it's beyond frustrating because people run out of money too.
Yeah,
So they're like, oh, I have a website and but I don't have any clients and I can't invest in a coach to teach me how to build my business because I spent it on the website. And I'll tell
yeah.
you what, I see, as soon as they build out their offer, as soon as they get clear on who their person is, their website feels old and irrelevant.
Irrelevant. Yep. And that's the thing is that your brand will come out. It's just something that happens. And then like you can't force it, right? Like overcome yourself, the podcast, right? It just kind of became the brand. I
Yeah.
didn't like mean it. I just realized, oh, this is what I talk about over and over and over again. It's my podcast, it's my book, like this is my thing. And so I ran with it, right? But
Yeah.
what the first website I built, like you said, does not match at all. I look at it now and I'm like, oh my God, this is so
That's
embarrassing,
embarrassing.
right? But it's how I learned. It's you
Yes.
know, and like I love it. I have love for it and I'm grateful for it in its own
Yes.
way. But I'm
Yes.
like you said, I'm like, that looks like shit. I am so much better than that now. But then it's a track record where you could say, look where I came from and where I started. So
Mhm.
that
I
that
just did
is
a
really
reel.
cool.
I just did a reel about this today, which was like so many people get so caught up in having it perfect or having it look a certain way and not putting themselves out there. And what we know is that you putting yourself out there is how you build your confidence. It's
Yes.
how you make mistakes and learn. But if
Learn to
you're
ask the right questions.
yes, absolutely. So if you're just kind of hanging out, like doing this freebie or doing these things and like focusing on your website, you're not actually putting yourself out there. And what I've also seen too is that, and this is where the personal development side of building a business really starts to come in because you're working on rejection. So many of us are neurodivergent too. So we have like the whole rejection sensitivity. We don't want to be rejected, right? But like you have to work with somebody to overcome that and develop a thick skin because if you don't figure out how to accept being rejected, you're going to have to just go work for somebody else because you're never going to last in this. You're going to be every no is going to hurt your feelings so significantly that you don't want to put yourself out there. So you have to look at this. There's visibility wounds, there's body image stuff that comes up. There's just so much stuff that we're working through, right? Worthiness stuff. I'll be
Yeah.
46 at the end of the month and there's like I'm working on feeling fucking old and seeing all of the, the faces that look young and the bodies that are young, and so I'm constantly working on this because I want to age naturally. I don't want to do all of the fillers and all of the things. So
You're
I
beautiful, by the way.
thank you. But this is something, and like but people also think, "Oh, they don't deal with that because they're popular or they're making a lot of money." But like behind the scenes, these are the conversations that I'm having with my coach friends and my clients is this the worthiness and the self-esteem and
Yeah.
um yeah, like
And like what you were saying, rejection can come in so many forms in this space. Because it's not just somebody
mhm.
saying, no, I don't want to work with you. It could be like a really nasty comment on a YouTube
Oh,
video.
mhm.
Or, you know, they didn't like something that you posted on Facebook.
And they're
And
cruel. They
yes,
go
yes,
right
those
to your like,
keyboard warriors.
oh, yeah, where you're just like, oh,
Yeah, but you know what? They don't, 9 times out of 10, and I've learned this from my mentors, if you trace back who left that comment, they're not brave enough to put their face online.
that's
They're not
true.
brave enough to put their opinions online. And so what they say doesn't really count because like they're
Right.
hiding behind a, you know, an avatar. So
Yeah.
just the other side of that, you know, to remember because yeah, you do. Every time you look at a picture, you're like, oh my God, I'm so fat. Oh my God,
Hmm.
my eyes. Like yesterday I was watching a video and I was like, oh my God, my eyebrows. Like this one's bigger. And
Right.
and then I sent it to someone. I was like, can I submit this? And she's like,
Yeah.
yes, amazing. I'm like, I was looking at the
Totally.
eyebrows. You know, yeah. And so
Absolutely.
those are the things you have to deal with here. Because we're dealing with every day. And the things that you thought, you're like, okay, I dealt with this. Then you get to the next level and it comes up in a new way. And you're like, wait, I thought,
Hold
but you had done
on.
it at level 1 and now you're at level 3. And so that she comes back and she's like, I'm back with a
Don't
vengeance.
forget about me.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yes. And what I
Mhm.
say to that too is like, and I remind my clients, like, because we're working on money stuff and money beliefs, and there's just so much that we're working on. And they're like, I thought I dealt with this. And you did, you dealt with this at that level, and it doesn't go away. You just get stronger. You
Yes.
just get more resilient. You get more confident, and you have to keep going. if you don't keep
Mhm.
going, like I said, like you're going to have to go get a job. Like you have to be, and this is why no one told me when I started my business that this was like the ultimate personal development experience. I was like, I just want to do funnels and I want to help people with marketing. Like,
Yeah.
why is all of this stuff coming up? But which then serves me well that I don't drink and that I don't use to numb, because I can't even imagine. I mean, I don't know if I'd be alive if I was still using the way that I was using. I don't think that that would be true. And I like would be spending my money. Like I just wouldn't have the life or the business that I have if I was
Yeah.
still
I was
using,
gonna
right?
say, when you were talking in the beginning about like, about drinking, I was like, the other thing is so expensive. We went out one night and I got two drinks and they were like this big. They were like drinks, not like shots, like, and but the cup was like this big, and the guy was like $48, and I was like, how do people do this every weekend? I was like, no, I can't
I
do
had a friend
this.
that went to Spain and he flew over and he said that they were like 20 something euro a drink. And I was like, are you insane? Like people pay this?
Yeah,
But
no, 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 I can't.
when I was a waitress, like we had shots of Patron and it was like 14 bucks. So this was
Hmm.
back in 2000 and what, 10 or 11, $14 shots. Those would be like $20 shots. Just just so that you like forget your name and can't walk? Like
And that's just one shot. You're gonna need like seven of those dudes. Like,
yes.
no, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
and on top of like all the other party favors, like inflation is insane.
Yes.
But and life would just be so different. And there's,
Mhm.
I mean, and granted, like things are stressful. Like it's not that my life is without
Yes.
stress. Like, and I think like, oh man, I just want to drink. Like I just want to, it'd be so nice if I could just take the edge off or go like forget things for a little bit. And then I think about the way that I keep from doing that. Cause look, I live alone. I have my two cats. Like there's been moments where I'm like, literally nobody would know. I could drink
But you
again.
would go.
I would know. And I have such a guilty conscience. And I have to play out what would happen. And I
Hmm.
know, like for me, because I've been sober for 12 years, October, it'll be 12 years. I'm not going to break 12 years of sobriety to have just one drink. We're going to go party and I'll probably die. Like, and so like I play that out of like, I don't have an off switch. There's no like, let's just like enjoy it. It's like deadly. And
Yeah.
the hangovers, like I don't drink enough water
No.
one day and I'm like so dehydrated. Like I can't even imagine what it would be like if I was actually drinking. So, and then just one of the reasons
And
I
then the
started,
older you are, the worse those hangovers get,
ah,
dude.
and I'm
Oh,
perimenopausal, so I don't even know how that's
no,
going to
no,
work
no. I
out, right?
can't. I can't. Mm-mm.
And one of the reasons that I actually started my business was because I wanted something that kept me accountable to my recovery and that kept me healthy, like living a healthy lifestyle. And so by me putting my life on display, by me talking about my recovery, it added a level of accountability that you just can't get if you're hiding out on your own,
Hmm.
you know? And so for me, there's like a lot of people who look up to me. There's a lot of people who are, reach out and they're inspired. Sharing my story has helped them have the confidence to quit. And so like that also plays into like why I can't drink or why I won't drink.
Yeah, it sucks anyway. So like,
Yeah,
you're not
I'm not
missing
missing
anything.
out and I
Don't
can't
worry.
afford it.
Yeah,
It's too
no,
expensive.
no, no. Oh my
I'd
God,
rather go
no.
on vacation.
Right? There's so many. Yeah, there's a lot of things, and you have to learn though. Like those are the things that come with, healing mentally and getting to a healthy place and being able to sit down and enjoy doing a puzzle, being able to sit down and like actually enjoy it, not like being like, oh, this would be so much better with some wine. Like, no, 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 like just letting yourself go. And or painting something, reading a book, like
Yeah.
going for a walk, like just simply hanging out with your cats and petting them and enjoying them and like, like just being in the moment. And you can't do those things, when
Totally.
you're
Yeah.
off gallivanting and passing out in the street like that.
Well,
That's not fun. That
yeah.
doesn't sound fun.
Also just like the recovery too, cuz like when I was finally ready to stop, like my hangovers would last days where I was so incredibly sick. And I mean, the way to make it better is to start drinking again,
Hmm.
right? Like now we have a
Replace them.
problem. If I feel like shit, and the way to make this go away is to ingest the thing that made me feel this horrible, like now we have a really big problem. And that's the cycle that I was in.
And you have to stay drunk because then you always feel bad. And then the older you get, the more your body is like, I'm just tired. Like your poor liver is tired. Like everything's like,
Mhm.
like we walk 30,000 steps and you don't even remember half of them. Like, come on. Like that's why your feet hurt right now. Yeah, no, but it's a lot. And
Yeah.
I know we talked about this before the episode, but I grew up surrounded. I've talked about it before on the show, surrounded by alcoholics, different members of my family.
Mm.
And one of the funny things I remember getting in trouble for, because I had one family member and they would drink, and then another family member would come over and they'd be like, oh, you've been drinking. And then I would get in trouble. Oh, you told them I was drinking. And I was like, nah, bitch, I didn't have to tell them. Like, you
It's
look
like written on
drunk.
the
Like, you
wall.
didn't
Yeah.
even know. But yeah, so it's like this whole thing. It takes over your life and you're always angry at people and you don't remember half the stuff you do. So I commend you,
Mm,
for stopping. I'm sure the generational trauma, like you had to face that. And
yeah.
I was talking about this with someone yesterday. Like that's a big deal, facing that and being like, you're not passing from me. This is it.
Yep.
Like
It stops
that's it.
here.
It
Yep.
stops here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I commend you for that. Now,
Thank you.
you mentioned, and you've mentioned it a few times, I want to get my hands on it. Tell us about the gift that you have available for us.
Yes. So I have the anti-hustle business checklist. So if you go to antihustlebiz.com, you'll see the freebie there. And I have a podcast as well, Anti-Hustle Business Podcast. And so there's a couple of links there so you can learn more about me. I have a free Facebook group. But the freebie, the business checklist. So as I said, like so many of us don't know what to focus on when we are just getting started in our businesses, and we focus on the wrong things. So I created this very lengthy checklist so that you can see exactly what you need for each stage of your business. And so it walks you through what you need to have to get started. And then once you're making some money, then here are some things that you want to layer on. And so I walk you through that whole process. And then once you're in that funnel and receiving those emails, you'll also receive some other free trainings that are in there, how to build your business and how to get things moving along. And eventually, we'll have the conversation about Anti-Hustle Business School.
I love it. That is amazing.
Thank
And
you.
how can we follow you on social media?
Yep. So I'm at the Shannon Whaley on Instagram. Oh, TikTok. I think it's Anti-Hustle Biz Coach. I'm not on there. I know it'll be in the show notes, but I think that's what it is. But everywhere's Shannon Whaley, or Anti-Hustle Business. So you can just go see all of those. Yeah. And then I'd say antihustlebiz.com and you'll get all of the links and see where I am.
Perfect. And
Yeah.
all of those links are going to be available down in the show notes for those of you listening here. All right. And we like to sign off here with a final tip. What's that big tip? Like something that you tell your audience that just gives them the biggest aha. They're like, I'm so glad I paid you for this. Give it away to us
Hmm.
now.
Um, Find recovery. Just like look at, so one of the big things is just like look at what, like, is this serving you in your life? Because I not yet don't do recovery coaching, it might be part of what I'm offering here. But so many of my clients do get sober and like find recovery during our business coaching because they see how much of an impact substances are having on their life and they want to make some changes. So you don't have to wait to hit bottom. You don't have to wait for things to get awful. You don't have to get to blacking out and passing out in public. Like, you can stop now. And if you're questioning your relationship with alcohol and you're also a business owner, these things go hand in hand. And so my recommendation is just to kind of take an inventory of where you are and where you want to be and see if alcohol and substances play a part in that. And if not, it's time to make some changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just since we're talking about recovery and everything, I know that there's lots of local programs available no matter what you're struggling with. I know I've heard of like Narcotics Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous. And I also recently learned, I was watching a show, and there is something like separate from AA. It's called Anon, and it's actually for family members of alcoholics. And so if you know someone who's struggling and you're like, I need help, even though I'm not the one who's addicted, but I'm living with someone or I know someone, I'm working with someone, there are options available. So you can look them up
Absolutely.
online. And please reach out to Shannon because this is such a big deal. And again, the addiction is not the problem. It is a symptom of the problem.
Correct.
Something's going on. And we just want to make sure that you get helped and that you get happy and that you get healthy. Because like we said earlier in this conversation, life is not meant to be dragged through. Like, we want you to live joyfully. We want you to live with purpose. We want you to live with hope. And so we want you to overcome yourself. And so that's what it's
Love
all
it.
about, right? So,
I
okay,
also want to add into, so
yes.
there's Al-Anon, and actually one of the clients that I'm working with right now is Tipping Point Recovery, which is specifically for families who
Okay.
have loved ones who are struggling. So the work this is like what's kicked me back into this industry and into the recovery field. But the work that the owner and founder of Tipping Point, Kate Duffy, has been doing is just really groundbreaking because family support hasn't been in traditionally. So just want to throw that out there. There are the 12 steps, but that doesn't work. Like, I didn't get sober through the 12 steps. But there's Dharma Recovery and Women for Sobriety. And so there's lots of other avenues to help you find recovery and help your family. So
That is so important. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And for when you were talking, something that came up for me, there are also groups for things like grief. And so,
Yes.
like, for you, if you're listening, I've been to therapy, and having group experiences is very powerful. And so that's why one of the reasons that we're talking about this today, I know it can be helpful. And so I know this is kind of deep and heavy, but you never know who's listening that might be blessed by this. So I really appreciate you, Shannon. This has been
Thank you.
amazing.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. And thank you guys for joining us. This has been a great episode, and we'll catch you next time on the next episode of Overcome Yourself, the podcast. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again for tuning in to Overcome Yourself, the podcast. Stay bold, stay grateful, and keep becoming your best you. For more information and resources from me, Nicole, head over to nicoletexberry.com/resources. See you next time.